Hi, everybody. It's Agnes, and it's viewers' success story time, and it's from Baby Sloth today. Now, it goes like this. I always knew that one day I'd be sending you my story. Hopefully, you can share it on your channel and it will help and inspire others. This is the story of how I was able to attract my specific person back after 1.5 years of separation and a third party. My specific person and I met at work and we began dating in March 2016. The things progressed quickly and we spent a lot of time together. It was the strongest connection I have ever felt with anyone. Soon something seemed off. He stopped replying to my texts or just replied with, I've been really busy. Next time I saw him, he admitted what was wrong. He told me his family is a fundamentalist religion and they expect him to marry one of their own. He feels extremely torn because he already has feelings for me, but he doesn't know if it's the best for both of us to continue. My heart dropped as my mind immediately went to the devastating stories of mixed faith couples and conflicts with their families. It felt like a cruel joke. It felt unfamiliar that something outside of both of our control should affect our happiness like this. In my mind, I already knew that we would have to break up eventually. I just didn't want it to be yet, and neither did he. We were already in love. We continued to see each other in secret from his family over the next 5 months and never brought up religion in conversation. However, it was always in the back of my mind. I began researching religious history and studying theological arguments. In a way, I was learning about what I'm dealing with, but secretly I was arming myself with the tools to convert him out of his beliefs. In my mind, that's the only way we could have a chance of being together. In August 2016, things started to slow down and we finally had the talk. He wanted to break up but try to be friends. I decided that we should have discussions that we avoided having all the time. I was ready to convert him, LOL. But I see now that what I was actually doing was beating the problem to the ground. By December 2016, he stopped talking to me. I was crushed. I began losing myself. I was angry with him for giving up on us, and I was angry at the entire world for creating these divisions. On Valentine's Day 2017, I went on a date with another guy. When I got home that night, I sobbed hysterically in my bed. I thought, how I only want one guy, my SP, but I could never be with him again. April 2017, my SP stopped by my office and told me he accepted a new job offer. I was happy for him and I felt strangely relieved. I still wanted him more than anything, but being together felt hopeless, so moving on seemed like the only option. And with him not around, I could finally do that. Weeks went by. I wasn't doing well. I went on social media and I followed a trail of comments under one of his photos that took me to a profile of some girl. That last photo she posted was of my SP and her holding hands. It felt like 1,000 bricks had hit me, like my heart was dumped into a pot of molten lava. I wasn't doing well before I saw that, and that was only a preview. The next months, I wallowed in depression and anxiety. I felt like a shell of myself. I continued looking at social media and seeing new happy pictures of them, while I was barely finding strength to get myself out of bed. I see now how I lived in the problem. I kept it active. I was seeking out arguments about religious topics. I met with priests, pastors, and shamans. It was my mistaken way of finding closure. It was my way of validating my broken heart and finding justice. I only blamed him and blamed the circumstances. I didn't acknowledge my role in the situation. From this place of need and desperation, I sent him a text in July 2017 and I didn't get a response. I felt like the ultimate knockout. I started seeing a therapist and getting into meditation. In September 2017, I stumbled upon your videos, Agnes, and my eyes were wide opened. Realizing that everyone is you pushed out, perspective changed everything. From that point on, I began to the LOA work. I started doing all your meditations during my free time. During the first weeks, I meditated for at least 3 to 4 hours a day. The heavy feeling in my chest began to gradually lift, and I emailed you to help me with identifying my specific limiting beliefs and created audio affirmations to oppose them. I would play them in the car and before going to sleep. During moments when strong despair hit me, I'd repeat, I love myself, or I surrender, on a loop in my mind to drown out everything else. I began having more high moments, but still had pretty low ones. It took a while to accept all responsibility for what had happened between me and my SP. Living in the end was very difficult, so I didn't force it because I felt like I was trying too hard to really feel the positive emotion when I was thinking of him. On good days, it was easier to feel love for him, but during bad moments, I still resented him. January 2018, I really focused on doing Ho'oponopono, and it helped me to release the remainder of the blame I put on him. Having been meditating regularly for the past months made me feel more mindful of my thoughts throughout the day. I now could catch myself on a negative vibe before spiraling too far down. I began feeling more in control. Every now and then I'd still get completely discouraged and I felt like giving up. I felt pathetic for believing, but nothing was changing in the physical world. Throughout this process, I still had the impulse to check his social media pretty frequently. I wanted evidence of him breaking up with the third party. I wanted him to take down the profile picture of the two of them. So what I did was I took screenshots of his Facebook and Instagram pages and I pasted the photo of the two of us in the place of his profile picture. I also created photoshopped emails of him telling me he misses me. I saved them on my computer and on phone to look whenever I had the need to check his actual pages. In about a week, he changed his profile picture to just one of himself. I took that as a good indication to boost my confidence. Spring 2018, my mindfulness was better, so I meditated less and I only did the specific techniques when I felt good first. I got more directly into Neville Goddard and I listened to his lectures on my drives in the car. I started focusing on living in the end and having unshakable faith that I was the creator of my reality. Whenever I had doubts, I was imagining Abdullah saying, "No, you are with your SP," and slamming the door like he did in Manifesting Barbados Trip for Neville. In June 2018, I started resonating with Abraham's way of explaining LOA and how it works for all aspects of life. She talked about finding satisfaction in the present moment unconditionally, and what we want will come even if we don't think about it because it already exists in the vortex. That's when I decided to stop all the techniques, all the YouTube videos for a month and just put my focus on becoming unconditional and letting everything else go. That's when I finally began to have a breakthrough. One night, oddly enough, I received a follow-up request from my SP's girlfriend. I took that as a clear sign they're having problems and she's being jealous and unstable. 3 days after that, I was driving home from work and I made a sharp lane change and felt kind of bad because I cut off the driver behind me. As I looked in my rearview mirror, lo and behold, it was my specific person. I was so shaken and excited, I couldn't believe the coincidence. Again, I messaged you, Agnes, to talk me off the ledge and tell me what happened was not just a coincidence. Now I really believed and expected things to unfold quickly, soon. However, as weeks passed, nothing else happened and some doubts began to creep in. I decided I was done. By September, I couldn't do it anymore. I was going to massage him. It's probably message him and let whatever happens, happens. I sent him an email saying that I saw him on the road and it was the strangest coincidence. He responded with a long email within minutes. I was shaken. In the weeks that followed, we emailed almost every day. So many things he said triggered me. It was a series of ruthless tests on my self-love. He was still with his girlfriend, but he felt trapped. Apparently, they haven't been doing well for months. I began reliving all the negative emotions I had before, which I thought I had healed. I was torn between continuing to message him and cut him off. I had fears of him deciding to ignore me again, but I did my best to suppress them. With time, I began to relax and regain my confidence. I told myself I got this situation this far and I can't take it. And I can't take it all the way. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but that's okay. As our conversations went on, we got more honest and intimate. He admitted to me that he never got over me. All he did was lie to himself and that he misses me deeply. I didn't do any techniques other than stay mindful of what I was feeling and keeping myself in the place of self-love by meditations and affirmations. This quote by Abraham Hicks really helped me in doubt during this time. Your relationship with him doesn't have anything to do with his relationship with anyone else. I knew that I Couldn't push him, so I didn't demand anything or freak out. I instead focused on myself as much as possible. In mid-October, he told me his girlfriend and him broke up. The emotional up and downs continued, but last week I met him for the first time in over 1.5 years. I was a whirlwind of nervousness and excitement. Everything about how our chemistry was is still there. We couldn't get enough of talking to each other. Both of us said that we don't know where this is going, but it's undeniable that we mutually want to be together, and that's enough for now. Looking back at my journey, I see how I wasn't perfect, but it still worked. I had many ups and downs, but eventually my ups gained momentum and tipped the scales of the situation. I experienced firsthand how unconditional love can heal anything. Once you desire something, it is a sure thing that it must come to full fruition. One of the biggest takeaways for me was to be easy and playful about the whole process. I think we sometimes detrimentally call the LOA process LOA work and end up approaching it with a rigid discipline and intensity. The universe, on the other hand, has quite a sense of humor and simply laughs at our worries and doubts and limiting beliefs because it knows our true creative power. Let's learn to laugh and smile along with it on our way to creating the lives of our dreams. Thank you, Agnes, for your channel and everything you do. Woohoo! Well done, baby sloth. You did actually put a Abraham Hicks YouTube in your email, which I will add to the bottom of the description for those that want to actually have a look at what you've suggested here. Thank you for sharing honestly where you were at in the beginning, because it's good to really share how we really were with honesty so people can see the progress of going from, you know, the stuff that breaks people up to the stuff that actually brings people back together. So I will put down below the what was I going to say? Oh, the playlist for all the viewers, how to get a specific X-Back series. I will also put down below the self-love meditations playlist. I will also put down below the Everyone Is You Pushed Out, because I know we talk about it a lot, but we still need to remember it daily. And I will put down below also the meditation channel. I know some of you use it regularly. For those of you that haven't seen it, it is a full meditation channel of meditations with music, and they're a bit longer, and they're on a whole separate channel, and they're just better recorded than the ones that I used to do on this channel, which my techie skills have got better, and I've got help now from someone who does the music, and all is much more professional. So that's it for today. Thank you for the success story. It's wonderful, and it's really good to hear people moving forward.